Nikichi Taifa, and we are here for the 16-day Babaluaiye Healing Ritual. And I am here with our spiritual leader, Babaluaiye Marie of Ilé Ìmọ. Greetings.
Thank you. And bravo, everyone. This is such an exciting time, Mame Kichi. Our Babaluaiye Healing Ritual. Yes.
Oh my goodness. I mean, Babaluaiye, we're talking about the deity of disease. We got a lot of that going on today. It is a deity of pandemics.
Yeah.
It is a deity of prosperity and community restoration, but it is also the deity of healing,
prosperity, abundance. Babaluaiye is known for community healing. Many of us remember the days of the smallpox and all of that. That's when he really came on the scene in terms of worldwide attention. But he is also in terms of healing the individual, healing the family, because before we even get to the community, we have to begin with self and family, right? So he is known for many ways of healing mentally, physically, spiritually, economically, with your finances. So he brings an opportunity for us to reset ourselves, rejuvenate before we move forward into the next era.
And you know, Marie, that is so very critical. And during these 16 days, December 16th through December the 31st, we're going to be focusing on different aspects of these healings. So can you just share just a little bit, just a little flavor of what these 16 days are going to do?
Absolutely. Well, the theme for this year's healing service is healing with the 16 Odus. So we're bringing in the Odu Ifa, and we're looking at the Odu, the major Odu from Ogbe to Ofun, and each day we will focus on one of the major Odus. And not only that, we have Babalawos and Iani Ifas from Nigeria, from throughout the U.S., who will be chanting these essays for us and who will be offering blessings for our community as well as the individual. So we're going to focus on healing in so many different ways that we're going to just have everything infused with healing, because as you said, there's a lot going on today and we need the healing.
Well, Babaluaiye Marie, I'm so very excited. I mean, these 16 days, I mean, I just can't wait. And I'm glad that Ilé Ìmọ is presenting this for the benefit of the community once again.
And we want to invite each and every one of you. You will have a package. We want this this year to be, it's a little different from last year. It's going to be a little bit self-generated, so you are able to engage in your ritual within your family at a more convenient time for you. But we will also have times where we will get together collectively and do rituals. So yeah, so I'm excited, and we want everyone to join us. Please go to www.ileimole.com for more information on how you can engage in this annual ritual.
Absolutely. I do pray.
Hello, my name is Nikichi Taifa, and I'm going to share with you today a tale of wisdom, Ayana. The story of how Anansi's magic helped Ayana get to the Harvest Festival, despite the fact that her two sisters had failed to follow the 7 principles of our new African value system. Last night, I had a dream. In one of the little houses on Freedom Lane, I saw a beautiful young sister whose skin was like ebony and whose eyes shone like midnight. She looked as lovely as a beautiful flower. Therefore, her name was Ayana. Ayana practiced the 7 principles of our new African value system each and every day. But fairly sad to say, Ayana had 2 sisters who felt they did not need to follow the 7 principles anymore. Not only had her sisters become selfish and greedy, but they did absolutely no kazi, no work at all around the house. When it was time to wash the dishes, Ayana did the kazi. When the floor was dirty, Ayana swept. When everyone was hungry, Ayana cooked. her two sisters just kept on being lazy and forgot all about the value of Ujima, collective work and responsibility. One day, the community drummers beat out a message that there was going to be a big festival that evening in Garvey Square celebrating the harvesting of the first crops of the new African community since their nation became free. And speaking at this festival was going to be this fine freedom fighter who had fought bravely in the nation's war for liberation. Now, all of the sisters in the community were very excited to hear this because they all knew that this brother was seeking a wife. Ayana worked even harder around the house that day because we all know before one goes out to have a good time, all of the kasi, all of the work must be completed. But while Ayana was busy doing all the work, her two sisters just kept primping in front of the mirror, picking out their hair, wrapping the most colorful materials around the house and wrapping it around their bodies. I heard that the brave warrior who would be at the festival tonight likes many different colors, one sister said, as she picked up a bright panel of fabric and wrapped it around her. I am quite sure he will ask me to be his wife. Ayana, her other sister snapped, come here and cornrow my hair. I heard this brother likes many braids. So Ayana put down her mop. She put it down. She very skillfully plaited her sister's hair, and she adorned it with the lovely trade beads and cowrie shells from the mother continent, Africa. You look very beautiful, my sister, Ayana praised. Is there any fabric left for me to wear so that I might also go to the harvest festival? I'm nearly finished with all of the work. Ayana's two sisters just laughed and laughed. The only material left is that old dust rag you were dusting with, one sister said. That old dust rag you were dusting with. Whatever would you do at the harvest festival anyway? You don't even know the latest dance. With those cold words, Ayana's heart sank, but she did not say the word. She only continued with her dusting. When her sisters left for the festival that evening, Ayana sat down in the middle of the floor. She cried and she cried and she cried. And while sobbing, she heard a faint knock at the door. Ayana opened it and she was astonished to see what was standing there. Why, it was a little spider with a round stomach and a big top hat on and very small spindly legs. And Ayana opened wide her mouth and she exclaimed, why, you look like someone out of my West African folktale book. Why, I am, my dear Ayana. My name is Anansi. Anansi the spider. Of course, Ayana exclaimed as she dried her eyes. Come in, please. Of course, Anansi. How is your family? Everyone is fine, replied the spider. But Ayana, why do you have tears in your eyes? My sisters have gone off to the harvest festival, she tearfully replied, and they've worn all the best material. And when I asked what I could wear, they just laughed at me and told me to wear my dust rag. Ayana, my beautiful flower, bring your dust rag and come with me, urged Anansi. I know you are a positive sister who always tries to follow the 7 principles of our Black value system. But Anansi, Ayana replied cautiously, are you sure this is not one of your pranks? We all know you were quite a trickster in the stories. Yes, my dear flower, I do have a trick for you, but it will bring good. Have faith and come with me. So Ayana followed Anansi the spider into the evening coolness, down Freedom Lane, across Harriet Tubman Circle, through the Black Star Fields to the opening of a large hole in the ground. And inside this hole, there were millions and millions of Anansi's friends. And the magic spider told Ayana to drop her dust rag into the hole, peer down, and watch what happened. Inside the hole, the hundreds of Anansi's friends, they spun colorful webs, just colorful webs around the dust rag until it became yards upon yards upon yards of the beautiful, magnificent, fabulous kente cloth. Anansi then wrapped this magnificent fabric round and round round and around Ayana's body. And with the remaining piece, he formed a gele around her head. My beautiful flower, he exclaimed, admiring her radiance. You are now ready for the harvest festival. Oh, Anansi, Ayana cried joyfully. Asante Sana, thank you very much. The Kuumba, the creativity of your friends, has created material such as I have never seen before. But Ayana, cautioned Anansi, the minute you go against any one of the 7 principles of our new African value system, your beautifully wrapped cloth will slowly turn once more back into a dust rag. Now, before you leave, recite the 7 principles of our value system. With a clear voice and a serious expression, Ayana spoke. Umoja means unity. Kujichagulia means self-determination. Ujima means collective work and responsibility. Ujamaa means cooperative economics. Nia means purpose. Kuumba means creativity. Imani means faith. Repeat after me, Watoto. Umoja. Kujichagulia. Ujima. Ujamaa. Nia. Kuumba. Imani. And with that, Ayana left the hole and she walked slowly through the abundant fields of corn and tomatoes, which the collective work of the community had helped to plant. And she thought about the long, hard struggle for freedom that had gone on for a long time. She walked past the old, worn and tattered signs that said whites only and for colored people only, which she learned had been a very painful part of the Black nation's past before freedom came. She walked past Malcolm X Avenue and the Mandela Square Gardens, turned the corner at Obadeli Boulevard and past Martin Luther King Street. Ayana began to walk fast as she heard the faint beat of the drums vibrating louder and louder, louder and louder, louder and louder, louder and louder as she entered Garvey Square. Many eyes turned around to gaze upon her beauty. And in the midst of the drummers, she saw one of the elders of the community, Baba Ngoma, who was here long, long, long before independence came. Ayana never forgot the stories he would tell about what life was like before Africans all over the world won freedom. As Ayana was reminiscing these stories, Baba Ngoma winked at her as he announced that the next drum selection would be one in which only the young warrior would dance with a sister of his choosing. Oh, upon hearing all this, all of the sisters pushed their way towards the front of the square in hopes that he would pick them. Ayana saw one of her own sisters almost knock a child to the ground. Ayana quickly ran to help the little boy. Now, the brave young warrior had been watching Ayana's beauty for some time, but when he saw this act of respect, he knew she was more than just beautiful. She also had values. So the warrior made his way through the crowd of sisters to the back of the square where Ayana stood with a beautiful magic kente cloth that had been spun by Anansi's friends. And to the rhythms of the drums, Ayana and the brave young warrior danced the way their ancestors had danced in Africa. They talked at length and they discussed the situation in the world and the principles of our value system and how we must have unity in the race and never forget our purpose in life. But suddenly, in the middle of their third dance together, a loud harp explosion was heard. Everyone scrambled, ran blindly, began talking all at once. What is it? Has the enemy returned? What shall we do? What is happening? Ayana was one of the main ones in distress. Was all we did in vain, she shrieked? How much more blood will be shed? As she cried as she thought of her own father who lost his life as he tried to protect his family from the enemy. And with that thought, Ayana could not hold back the tears. And as she wept, dust started falling from her beautifully wrapped clothing as the fabric started to turn back to its original state. And knowing what was about to happen to her once beautiful clothing, Ayana started to run, but the brave young warrior caught her just in time, held her in his arms and spoke gently. My beautiful flower, he whispered, I'm ashamed of you. Have you lost faith in our struggle? Remember Imani, the seventh principle of our value system? Where is your faith, my sister? But the sound, the explosion, Ayana stammered as she wiped the dust from her arms. Yes, that was indeed the sound of a bomb you heard. He continued to tell the brothers and sisters gathered around listening. But the enemy has not returned. That was the sound recorded from one of our most furious battles to free the land. You and our children's children must never, ever, 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 ever forget that sound, because it is a part of our history. But for what purpose, my brother, do we need to bring back the cruel memories? We are free now. We can defend our borders from outside attack. My people, the warrior explained, it is necessary because many of our young people seem to have forgotten the principles of the value system. They seem to have forgotten that it was largely because of the values that we were able to achieve victory. We must never forget that it was far easier to win freedom when we had unity with each other. Say unity. When we showed self-determination, say self-determination. When we work together, say work together. When we shared with each other, say share. When we knew our purpose, say purpose. When we used our creative mind, say creativity. And when we had faith that we will win, say faith. We must never let life get so easy that we forget the past. From now on, every year at our Harvest Festival, we will play the recorded sounds of the bombs and flash the laser beams. This way, no one will forget, and everyone will understand why we must work together and why it is important to practice values. We would never have won freedom without unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and most importantly, faith. As Ayana nodded, she was happy to find that the dust had stopped falling from her cloth and that the material shone again as beautifully as it did before. And she knew now that she had regained her faith. And as an ancient saying goes, the warrior continued to his listeners, the ruin of a nation begins when its people have lost values. Every household must strive to live the 7 principles of our value system so that our nation will remain strong. And as the brave warrior spoke these words, Ayana's ebony eyes searched for her 2 sisters, whom she noticed with much delight were listening very intently to each word. She had faith that they too would begin practicing the principles again. Then the young warrior took Ayana's hand, and they walked slowly out of Marcus Garvey Square, through the fields of corn now glistening from the shine of the moon, across Obadeli Boulevard, down Malcolm X Avenue to Freedom Lane, and of course, they eventually got married and lived happily in their new African nation ever after. And with a drowsy smile on my face, I then awoke from my dream as I learned from Ayana's experiences that we as a people need to strengthen our values, especially the 7th principle of faith, that we will win only if we believe with all of our hearts in our people and in the righteousness and in the victory of our struggle. Ayana, thank you very much. This is Nikichi Taifa from my book, Shining Legacy.
My name is Kola Abimbola from Ifa University. This Odu is called Ogunda Meji. Ogundaji, awo ìbọn ló dífá fún bọn. Ìbọn jẹ nírọ̀gùn ọ̀tá. Ǹjẹ́ ẹnu tí ìbọn fi ń fọhùn náà ní fi ń ṣẹ́gun? Ogundaji, diviner of the gun, performed Ifa divination for the gun when she or he was living in the midst of enemies. Ifa says the mouth with which the gun speaks is the same thing that it conquers its enemies with. The meaning of this essay is that The person for whom this Odu is divined should be courageous to learn to speak up and to try to ensure that in situations of adversity, they assert their right to be respected, to be loved, and to be accorded their rightful dues.
Ikabo, Okwaba, Hotep, Nengadef, greetings, welcome. Oruko Mini, Mama Ngozi Williams. I am a member of Ilé Ìmọ and would like to offer my commentary on the Odu Ogunda Meji. Ogunda Meji is a reference to the courage of Ogun to face unknown obstacles. When some people have problems, they complain and blame others. In Ifa, complaining and blaming others is called Ibi. Ire comes from accessing Ogun's Ashe, which is the Ashe of the courage to take responsibilities for all of your problems and the willingness to face them head on. This reminds me of the Nguzo Saba principles of Ujima, collective work and responsibility, and Imani, faith. The principle of Ujima challenges us to build and maintain our community together and solve our problems together. We first must face and solve our own challenges prior to our community outreach. Amani, or faith, challenges us to believe with all our heart in our own people, our parents, our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. Again, we first must believe in ourselves, then extend outward to our family and community. Howard Thurman, in his book Inward Journey, says about belief and faith, faith envelops life and charges it with energy that sustains and holds. It is the breath of God that comes in all things, the breath of life. In that same book, he suggests that life must be experienced. He says man must experience life. He must feel it run through his whole being, that life belongs to him and him to life. The experience of life, not in life, teaches a man not to fear but to love life. He discovers that the test of life in him is to be found in the amount of pain, of frustration he can absorb without spoiling his joy in living. To keep alive, an original sense of aliveness is to know that life is its own restraint, and a man is able to stand anything that life can do to him. Consider these African proverbs to further bring light to this Odu. From Senegal, spilled water is better than a broken jar. From Ethiopia, adversity teaches. Also from Ethiopia, she who learns teaches. And then 3 from Zululand. One does not cross a river without getting wet. The rich are always complaining. A horse has 4 legs, yet it often falls. Odu Ogunda Meji, may you be blessed, better than blessed, by the wisdom of this sacred Odu and subsequent commentary.
So greetings. We are now at this very special part of our service where we engage in some reciprocity. Reciprocity is part of our 16-day Babaluaiye Healing Ritual. We're at the point in which we give back. We're at the point in which we experience reciprocity, the point in which we give as we receive. We want to help the blessings flow like the waters. Yes, indeed, as part of this service, we want you to just participate in this giving, in this receiving, and we use the cowrie shells to help to facilitate our ritual of giving. And so we talk about the perennial giving and receiving that represents the interconnectedness of the universe. We want to help Ilé Ìmọ grow its services and its offerings, its ceremonies and its festivals, its retreats and its rites of passage and all of the above. the first Sunday service. Yes, indeed. The Babaluaiye Healing Ritual, the Black History event, our morning ground ritual, our Orisha feast, our back to school ritual, our water ritual, our elders ancestral events, our soulful empowerment. All of these are annual events, and back to right here, right now, today, our Babaluaiye 16-day healing ritual. Let there flow peace, power, love, and prosperity. Let there flow peace, power, love, and prosperity. Let the blessings of Oshun wash down upon us, empowering us with prosperity, empowering us with power, and empowering us with perfection. Praise God. Praise God. Olodumare, from whom all blessings flow. Pull out that Cash App, or we'll call it our Carry app, and it's going to be $Ilé Ìmọ, $ILEIMOLE, PayPal, info@ileimole.com. And you can do your snail mail by check, Ilé Ìmọ, P.O. Box 610, Temple Hills, Maryland 20757. Yes, indeed. Give so that you may receive. So now that we've had the opportunity to give our $Ilé Ìmọ for Cash App, our PayPal, info@ileimole.com, or our snail mail checks, we want to thank the Mother, Father God, the ancestors, the deities, and the saints. We want to please, please, please accept these offerings, these heartfelt offerings on this day in your name from your devotees. And as we give our gifts freely with joy, we receive these blessings gladly with gratitude. And for those who are physically unable to give, please know that we are forever in the spiritual love.